Hey everyone, welcome back to the Houston Safari Club Hunting Matters podcast. This week again, I'm your host Joe Betar, and I'm joined by my buddy Gib Surles today. Gib, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Joseph.
Appreciate you being here today.
Thanks for
I
inviting
think the
me.
last time we were together for any length of time, we had backpacks on and we were hiking through a park training for hunts.
Absolutely. You were going to Alaska and I was going to the Northwest Territories.
Yeah, how's the knee doing?
It's okay. My right shoulder needs to be replaced now. That's always fun. So
You're right-handed.
I am right-handed.
Yeah.
I've already had my left shoulder replaced, and that was 7 years ago. And now my right one needs it. So I'm going to do it in January of 27 so I can get through another hunting season.
Got it. I want to talk to you about what your next big excursion is here in a little bit. But
Okay.
for the listeners who may not know you, to give us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, kind of where you grew up and how you first got involved in hunting.
I'm from Houston. Lived here all my life. Just turned 64 years old and grew up deer hunting in the brush country. My family was on a deer lease in Frio County from the time I was 8 until I was 18. So, really cut my teeth deer hunting in the brush country, and then went to Texas A&M, and one of my roommates at A&M was a big duck hunter, and we started duck hunting Lake Somerville a lot, and just really took me down a great path of duck hunting. So, but now, deer hunting, duck hunting, anything hunting, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We hunt in the brush country now in Webb County.
Right.
I've hunted the same ranch for 25, 26 years, and I think when COVID hit, I was sitting at my desk with my white shirt on and my red tie and couldn't spell Zoom.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, well, man, if this is how my career is going to wind down, I've got a few things on my bucket list. So started booking some more adventurous hunts.
Yeah.
And so for the past 5 or 6 years, we've been doing a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to dig into that as well. What do you do for a living day to day?
I'm in the life insurance business.
Okay.
In fact, when I graduated from A&M, I signed a contract with New York Life, and next Thursday I start my 42nd year with
wow.
New York Life. Man, dude,
Wow.
still blows me away that I've been that blessed for
Yeah.
that long of a ride, and we still love it and still running hard, and man, as long as we're having fun, we're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know many people who get past 5 or 10 years at a place, much less 42. That's crazy. Was hunting something that was passed down through your family? How'd you discover it? Was it something that was passed on? Did you do it on your own when you first started?
No. My dad, I took to hunting right off the bat. My father, he didn't kill his first deer until he was in college.
Okay.
And he didn't grow up hunting, but loved it, and got in with a big group of buddies, and they got on that place in Pearsall. But it just was in me, and it got in me, and so now it's kind of all I think about, quite frankly. You know.
Yeah, the other stuff's like, well, I'll pay the bills and I'll work, but it's all about the hunting stuff now.
Don't tell my wife I said that. Oh, no, heck, she might
she's
hear
not
this.
Watch this. She won't watch this. If it's like mine, she never watches the podcast anyway, so we can talk freely here. Was there thinking back in your recollection, was there a hunt that really hooked you? Was it your first hunt? Was it something that was like, okay, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life?
I don't know about that, but I can say, I guess I was 7 or 8 and killed my first deer with my dad, and we were hunting in Burnett, and I was sitting on the ground with a Winchester Model 94 30-30, and it just happened to be a tree stump that the branches split up, and so it was just right where I could shoulder my rifle, and my dad was sitting on the outside of me, and a doe came in, and he said, "Shoot her in the neck," and I did, and I can close my eyes and remember that to this day. And heck, man, maybe I was 6. I don't know. I was really young, but it was the the memories with my dad.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And especially on that place in Pearsall in Frio County, it was a family affair. I mean, I've got an older brother, older sister, and younger sister, and my sisters didn't really pull the trigger per se, but they would always go Thanksgiving and Christmas to the ranch, to the lease, and my brother and I, my dad would hunt, and it's stuck.
Yeah.
Capital Farm Credit understands that there's something about the outdoors that pulls you in. Could be the fresh air, the colors, the smells, the animals, the freedom. It's all just a part of who you are. And with our recreational land loans, you can purchase land for whatever outdoor pursuit you please. That way, the outdoors won't just be in your soul, it'll also be in your name. To learn more, visit capitalfarmcredit.com. Together, we're better.
Hunting Matters is presented by Copandero Indoor Archery Pistol and Rifle Range, your premier indoor archery pistol and rifle shooting destination. Located in Oak Ridge North, right next to the Woodlands, Copandero offers 2 25-yard pistol ranges, a 100-yard rifle range, and a 25-yard archery range. Whether you're honing your skills or just starting, Copandero has everything you need, including rentals, classes, a retail store, an in-house cafe, and a VIP lounge. Join Copandero today for an unmatched shooting experience. To learn more, go to copandero.com. Isn't it funny how we remember our first experience? My first hunting experience on my own was, my mom was single at the time, was raising a family on her own, and handed me my grandfather's. She taught me how to shoot a BB gun. My mother's the one who got me. The way she said it was, "You bugged me until I had to do something." So I bought you a BB gun, and I just said, "Go."
But she said it in her southern drawl.
Oh yeah, of course. Joseph, don't go shooting anybody with this BB gun. She
love it.
Yeah, but she started me on a BB gun, and would take me out and let me shoot tin cans and things like that. And then one day she handed me my grandfather's single shot 410 shotgun. We were living in an apartment complex in a fairly rural community in North Louisiana. And I still remember one Saturday we got up and there was a freak snowstorm. And it snowed, and I said, I'm going to go see if I can find something. So she handed me the gun. I had a pocket full of 410 shotgun shells, Yep. We didn't have much back then. And headed out across this field behind the apartment complex where there were these sloughs and things, and shot a rabbit.
All right.
And I was like, now what? Didn't know how to clean it, didn't know what to do with it, but I was like, I got a rabbit. So I took it home, and she skinned it out. And we had fried rabbits and biscuits and gravy, rice and gravy for breakfast that morning.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I still remember crunching through the snow, and I was wearing tennis shoes and jeans, and still remember to this day. And that opened it up for me.
Grabbed you
after that, and then I found out, there's a wood duck roost right there behind the apartment complex, and then it was all on after that.
That's what all that squealing is.
Yeah. So between rabbits and squirrels and wood ducks, and occasionally a mallard would drop in there, that kind of got me hooked. And then when I got to be a teenager, and my mom eventually remarried. My stepdad worked at Columbian Chemicals, and they had a plant outside of Monroe, Louisiana, with a big pipeline. And they would drop me off in the morning with a shotgun and pack a sack lunch, and I'd walk the hills of the pipeline all day, and they'd pick me up at sundown, and I'd come in with squirrel tails hanging out the back, or rabbits, or ducks if I could get close enough to ducks on the water without a boat, that kind of thing. And that's kind of how I did it. And my stepfather used to make fun of me. Great human being, great man. So blessed to have him in my life. He said, I remember you would walk out of the woods, and I'm a neat freak, part my hair, do all this stuff. He said you would walk out of the woods and have all those squirrel tails perfectly arranged, even numbers out of both sides of your game pack, and the rabbits tucked in there. He said the thing would be so packed it'd be sticking out the back, So, but yeah, that's kind of what hooked me into it.
It's so funny that you say that. Your mom giving you that 410. I would walk out from that main house in Pearsall, but my gun was a Belgian Browning 20 gauge featherlight.
Oh wow!
Big humpback.
Yeah.
And pocket full of 20 gauge shells, and going shooting dove and quail.
Yep.
Golly, that's fond memories. Yeah. Golly, that's fun.
It's yeah. And then the first time I saw a deer, I was like, oh, there's deer out here. Can I hunt them? You know, I didn't know the rule. Can I hunt them? And
Sure.
then I made the mistake of, Louisiana on public land out there. You know, I ran into somebody. I don't know if you remember this company or not, but Amaker. Remember that name? Amaker used to make one of the first climbing stands.
Yeah.
You'd put it on a pine tree, strap it on, and there'd be the seat. You'd put the seat up and grab it and pull the base up with your legs, and then just climb up the tree, which I would never be able to do at this age. But I'll never forget the time I was up in a pine tree trying to figure out what deer hunting was all about on my own. And that thing started slipping down the pine tree in the dark because I didn't have it set quick enough. And I don't know how it didn't kill me, but once it started coming down, all of a sudden it was like, and it shredded every piece of pine bark off that tree from 20 feet up down to the ground. And I was just sitting there going, I hope nobody saw that. You know, sitting there with a shotgun, with 12 gauge shotgun with slugs in it, which is all I could afford back then. But yeah, it's a miracle that I've survived all these years with all the stuff I used to do.
All of us.
Why do you think, you know, you obviously have this deep connection to the outdoors since you were a kid. Why do you think it has stayed with you your whole life?
I don't know. You know what?
Because I ask that because a lot of people get into it and they go to college, they don't do it, or, you know, they may come back to it, they may not.
I really, it's funny. Two of my closest friends in the world that we have hunted together forever. In fact, we really cut our teeth bow hunting. All three of our sons are not as smitten with hunting as we are. Mm-hmm. My son more so than the other two, and my son loves to hunt.
Yeah,
loves to hunt, but sometimes he'll bigger, better deal you. You know, saying, "Hey, I think I need to stay in town this weekend," type thing.
Yeah.
Or, you mean I have to test negative for COVID in Africa so I can come home? I'm not real comfortable with that. And my comeback was, "But dude, it's a buffalo hunt."
right.
Anyway, I think it's either in you or it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't grab everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it really doesn't. But, and there's so much more than just the harvesting of an animal. I mean, the sunrises and just the vibe when you are hunting.
Yeah.
And it's overcast and it's cold and it's just, it reminds you of days past. I mean, it's just, there's so much more to it than just the actual hunt.
Right.
You know?
I think as hunters and outdoorsmen and conservationists, also as you mature, it becomes, you know, I think we all come from the same origin where you start and it's kind of like, oh, I want to shoot a big deer or I'm going to shoot a big whatever. And then as you get older, it's like, I've done that. I'd rather see, you know, not consciously, but I'm just as happy going, oh, there's a green jay. Oh, there's a, look at that fox running across the field. You know, just watching the woods and the prairies wake up in the morning and watching them go to bed at night and patterning animal behavior. One of my favorite things about hunting is taking people hunting that have never been before or that, you know, have been very, very little and going, okay, this is how you age deer on the hoof.
Right.
Or this is what you can do or you shouldn't do or what you should look out for. How about you? You kind of at that point?
Well,
except for, you know, your extreme experience.
Well, we'll talk about those in a second. I'm going to our lease tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go fill up protein feeders. And I called one of my old roommates from A&M to see if he could go with me, and he couldn't go. But I spoke to him yesterday, and he said basically what you just described. He goes, you know, dude, I'm just not quite as mad at him as I once was.
Yeah.
And when it comes to chasing mature whitetail, I am just as mad at him today as I was when I was 16. And I think that it's because I'm so respectful of them, and I'm a student of the species.
Yeah.
As you just described, dude, I love watching those deer and finding that one mature 5, 6, 7-year-old deer.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 5-year-old, he's going to be a management deer. If he's a 7-year-old, he's probably going to be a trophy, but he might still be a management deer. And it's not inches of antlers.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, man, I want to kill a big deer. I want you to kill a big deer, all of the above. But just harvesting that mature animal
Yeah.
to get him out of the herd, if he's a management deer, or just figuring out the pattern of that big old deer,
Yeah.
that big mature deer. And these cameras have changed so much now that it is really rare for us to harvest a buck deer that we haven't seen or have been tracking and saying, it's time to, let's take him out.
Right.
And even to that end, I've got 2 immaculate sheds in my office of deer that I have harvested that I found the sheds the year before.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And you got to find them at the right time before the sun's bleached them and all of that.
Right.
And it's just, it's my passion.
Yeah. Are you looking for an investment that goes beyond the ordinary? Wildlife Partners is the nation's leader in breeding and consulting for the exotic wildlife industry. When you invest in wildlife, you're not just acquiring a 100% tax-deductible asset, you're playing a vital role in the conservation of endangered species. Do you own land? You can turn your ranch into a profitable wildlife-driven business. And even if you don't own land, that's no problem. Wildlife Partners offers unique opportunities for non-landowners to invest in conservation while enjoying significant tax benefits and potential cash flow.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put that next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to dearanch.com. That's dearanch.com.
You know, that is my passion.
It's, you bring up cameras, and cameras has changed the game, obviously. Over the years, they've gotten better, and now you can sit on your phone at your office and look at stuff.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, some people do. I mean, I know a lot of guys are like, they can look at them from home going, oh, I know it's exactly what's going into that blind area. But I still find, even though I use cameras, I still find occasionally, I'm surprised. A deer will show up, I'm like, I've never seen that deer before.
That's for sure. That is for sure, especially during the rut.
Yep.
For sure during the rut. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a deer probably 3 years ago, and he was in the 60s. I mean, he was a sure enough gollywhopper. And I think he was 6, but we didn't have any data on him, so we didn't harvest him.
Yeah.
Never had a picture of him.
Yeah.
I took a picture with my phone and sent it to the biologist, and he said, yeah, man, I think he's 6. And never saw him again.
Yeah.
So he just came blowing through. But what it really does, it allows you to be a better steward of the resource because we know which animals need to be harvested, and it's not really timing them per se, but it's just knowing which deer to take out of the herd for the betterment of the herd.
Yeah. And you guys work with a biologist on
We
your
do.
place?
Yeah, we do.
So they do, for people who may not know about managing deer, especially in Texas, a lot of places will work with a biologist. They'll fly it, or they'll do surveys every year.
Which we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fly it in a helicopter every year, and he tells us, based on the rain conditions, how many does we should harvest, how many bucks we should harvest, and that type of thing. And we feed protein, and we don't feed protein so as to grow giant antlers, albeit sure. Grows bigger antlers, but it also, the does, it gives the mineral content for the milk. I mean, it's just good for the entire herd.
Yeah. What do you think about, my wife said to me the other day, we were standing outside and a cool breeze blew in. It's starting to get a little hotter now and more humid than it has been. But here we are in June. And she said, this is, because we moved into the house we're living in now 6 years ago. She goes, this is just like the summer 6 years ago when it was relatively mild all summer. I'm talking to friends, our friend Leo who runs DEA Ranch, and these people, they're like, we're getting rain. We can't do this because it's too wet. When it's not even hit 100 yet in Houston or South Texas and some places in June. What are you guys expecting on your place this year?
It's going to be happening.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt the dove hunting.
Yeah.
Because the dove are all going to be spread out. And that's assuming we still get some rain.
Yeah.
But, our year last year was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad year, but I guarantee you it's going to be wonderful this year because we have had all the rain at the right time. We've had the discussion that it's more of this is that every third, fourth, or fifth year that we get into that rain pattern that we're getting so much rain, and it's so good for the resource. It's going to be awesome for the quail because I have been told that the grass is so tall.
Yeah.
So, man, we're going to have 3 hatches from the quail. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah, I was very encouraged because these kind of springs and summers, don't come along very often.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for a lot of the landowners and, of course, for us, the hunters too, as well, and the ranch managers. But yeah, Leo and I were talking.
He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he really is. We're
Really
talking. He's like, yeah, the grass is up to my shoulders, right now. But of course, I don't know if you've kept up with it. The big concern right now is the screwworm infestation in Texas.
Yep.
Have you guys talked to your biologist?
We have not. I have not engaged him in that dialogue, but I'm seeing the same reports that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I even had the guy yesterday ask me about our place. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to because we're going down tomorrow.
Yeah. I talked to Leo about, I was on the phone actually from about 7 a.m. going to see some people yesterday until I got there around 9. And, I wanted to dig in with him and say, what's this all about? And he said, well, the takeaways I got from him is, we're monitoring on everything because they do cattle, exotics, and deer on their place.
Right.
But he said, the 2 things, Joe, that are really starting to jump out at me is somebody gets on social media and they start to post things about the screwworm infestation, and it's been spotted now in Zavala and in Gillespie County, to my knowledge. I'm sure it's going to. He said, this reminds me of the 60s and 70s. He said, we had this in the 60s and 70s growing up. Mm-hmm. And he said, back then we would burn any dead carcasses or animals that were killed by them because we didn't want more flies coming to them. Now everybody's got a backhoe, they dig up and put them in there. He said, but the thing is, he goes, somebody starts posting on social media and it's widespread panic like during the pandemic for paper towels and toilet paper. He said, you can't find hardly ivermectin anywhere because everybody's wanting to buy ivermectin to inject all their animals with as a preventative. And I said, well, what are you guys doing? He said, we've always done ivermectin in our animals as a preventative for a variety of things. Of course, we're checking noses and ears for screwworm larvae or maggots. He said now that they're publishing stories where they're like, you're susceptible and your dogs are susceptible and that sort of thing. And so people who are anti-hunting are now all over it, or non-hunters, because you can get screwworms in your dogs and kill them.
Right.
And so I said, well, what, not that I'm panicking. I'm like, well, what should I watch for? He said, check your dog's ears. About every week, your nostrils and ears in case something happens. But they had that one dog that was in Texas from New Mexico that they found that was infested this past week.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that was in Gillespie County, I believe. They had a dog come in and they had screwworms, and he was from New Mexico, had been in New Mexico. So
the only thing that I had heard is that the last time that it happened in Texas was in the mid-'60s.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
And I heard that yesterday, but dude, I don't know. I don't know.
Things are cyclical. I'm hoping that it gets under control. They are something else I learned is that what they will do is they will breed sterile flies and release them, and it helps negate the population. Counteracts the active breeders.
Right.
And so I think FDA and Texas Parks and Wildlife is looking at doing that in 2027. And Leo said, 2027, it's 2026 June. We need to be letting those things loose now.
Right now, yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Hopefully it won't become a huge issue in Texas, because automatically what happens is if your deer start dying off because of this and the population starts to suffer, they'll cut your tags.
Yeah.
You'll be, he said back then they went to 1 doe and 1 buck. And instead of counties where you got 4 doe tags and 2 bucks and all that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction of the state and federal agencies and those sorts of things to see what happens next.
Yeah, you have to think about the economic impact that would have on all these small business owners that cater to guys like you and I that drive down to wherever we're going hunting. I can remember this wasn't too long ago. It's like 4 years ago. We were in serious drought, and the biologist had said, "Hey man, 10 does and $5 off of 6,000 acres, if y'all don't mind.
Yeah.
And we said, why don't we just kill one buck and no does?
Yeah.
I mean, and it paid off. You know, we just have to do the right thing for the land.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, if we have to suck it up for a couple of years, so be it. You know, when you're deep in the field, far from roads, hospitals, or immediate help, preparation matters. Global Rescue provides medical and security advisory and evacuation services to hunters worldwide. From field rescue at the point of injury or illness to medical evacuation and real-time support, Global Rescue teams are ready 24/7, 365, with operations centers staffed by experienced professionals ready to respond. Whether close to home or far from it, having the right support matters. Plan your next hunt with confidence. Learn more at globalrescue.com/huntingmatters.
In the heart of nature, give your deer the nutrition they deserve with Record Rack Deer Feeds. The premium feeds support antler growth and overall herd health. Whether you're a wildlife enthusiast or a dedicated hunter, Record Rack Deer Feeds provide essential nutrients for a thriving herd. Choose Record Rack Deer Feeds for optimal deer nutrition. Visit recordrack.com to learn more.
Let's switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about stuff outside of Texas. You've had some incredible hunting adventures that you and I have talked about. I think I'm looking at my menu here. Africa twice, Spain for ibex,
And the Great Oaks ibex.
Dall sheep in Canada,
Yep.
moose,
Yep.
caribou in Alaska.
Mhm.
Which of those hunts challenge you the most? If there's one that really stands out to you, both mentally and physically.
I would say the most physical and mentally demanding hunt that I went on was last year on a Dall sheep hunt. In that, I went in 22 and then in 25. Same outfitter, great guys, South Nahanni in Northwest Territory. And the first time in 2022, you know, they dropped us off and we're setting up our tents and we're looking through the spotting scope. I mean, we haven't even finished setting up our tents. My guide was looking through his spotting scope. Hey man, I see 5 rams, and these are the first Dall sheep I'd ever seen. And I looked through through his spotting scope as we're setting up our tents. I mean, we can't hunt yet, and I saw the ram that I ended up harvesting the next day. And I mean,
Wow.
he was a stud. He was a great ram. And so
Is that the one on the picture you sent me?
I probably sent you both.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, it was a great ram. In fact, he was a 10-year-old ram. Yeah,
Wow.
10-year-old ram. And I said, hey, I don't know how these score. I don't know anything about them. And he said, and they scored it for me, and it was a 150-inch ram.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, how does that stack up? He said, well, a 170-inch ram makes the book. And I thought, cool, it's kind of like us, you know,
Yeah.
with the whitetail. So it's a 150-inch deer type trophy.
Right.
Great trophy. Great time, super, enjoyed it. But it was a first day kill. Now, it was a 13-hour day of hiking and whatnot, and it was strong.
Yeah.
But from that point, they flew us to another location, and we caribou hunted, killed a great caribou, mountain caribou. So, but a great hunt,
Yeah.
off the charts hunt. Last year, I didn't kill my ram until day 8
Oh wow.
of a 9-day hunt, and they moved me twice. And on one of those 8 days, I didn't hike at all to speak of because we were waiting for the helicopter to come pick us up. So in 7 days, I hiked 48 miles and ascended 15,000 feet. And by the end of the hunt, I started thinking, I'm not going to kill a ram.
Yeah.
This is a trick. And I was the last guy out of the 6 hunters that are there. Now, they spread you all out everywhere.
Sure.
But I was the last guy still out hunting. So I just kind of drew the black bean and was not in the rams.
Yeah.
And that was something. And physically, it
Yeah.
was so physical. And when it becomes physical and it's towards the end, then you start, it's a mind game.
Yeah.
Such a mind game. And on those sheep hunts, man, the ascending and the descending, it's just so physical.
Yeah.
But, ended up killing a great ram on day 8, 400-yard shot, and what he and I were just talking about, the FTW.
Yeah.
It was so cool, dude. We were on the ram, and we just had some things turn our way, and the ram, when he finally came out, and it's wide open, it's wide open, and I got my binoculars with my rangefinder, and I hit it with the rangefinder, and it was I think it was 402, and I told my guide, I said, we're shooting him from right here. We don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
And get set up, bipod, sandbag, getting ready, and he laid down. And I was comfortable to take that shot, but I thought, that ram has no idea we're here. It's a staggeringly beautiful day, not a breath of wind.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense for me to rush this shot.
Yeah.
And I sat there, and I had, because I was out of breath once we got set up, and then I got to calm down, and I had the presence of mind to, the ram's laying there, just to look around.
Yeah.
And just think how blessed I am to be laying here in the Northwest Territories with my rifle on safety, waiting for a doll sheep to stand up.
Right.
And there wasn't a doubt in my mind that I was going to make a perfect first shot. I just knew it.
Yeah.
And after about 25 minutes of us laying there waiting for him, he stood up, and I dropped him. It was spectacular.
That's cool.
Just spectacular.
That's cool. Yeah, to be able to kind of catch your breath and
Presence of
an
mind,
awareness
man,
around
it
your
It wasn't rushed.
Right.
It was, oh wow, man, I am doll sheep hunting, and I am my crosshairs on a doll. That was spectacular. But I will say this: the year before in Alaska, we were hunting the south face of the Brooks Range, and I flew into Fairbanks, took a vehicle 6 hours north on the Hall Road, and flew us out in a float plane. And my guide and I hunted for 6 days, for 5 days, without seeing a single animal in our theater. Now, we saw a grizzly from a long way away. We saw a herd of caribou. We saw some wolves, but they were all 3 miles away.
Yeah.
And I had I had a caribou tag, but I also had a grizzly tag. And we were going to get on any grizzly we could, but no moose at all. And we kept calling, kept doing the same thing. And that was kind of getting on you mentally.
Right.
And then first thing in the morning 6, this giant bull shows up at 220 yards, and boom, killed a great moose. Yeah. But when the outfitter came to pick up the meat the next day, he said, "Oh wow, yeah, man, dude, that's the bull I sent you in here to harvest, because we've seen him 2 times in the past 3 weeks flying over here, blah blah blah." And he said, "There's a big herd of caribou, probably 400 caribou, 7 miles that way. Y'all go get them." That was a hard trek.
I bet.
Walking over the tundra. We had 4 river crossings.
Yeah.
And it was cold. It wasn't bad, but It was cold. And we walked about 4 miles, set up camp, and then the next day set on our trek out to the caribou. And you could see them. There wasn't any snow yet, and they were on the side of a mountain, and we were watching this giant white wolf sneak those caribou. I mean, it snowed probably 4 hours later, and we got about 2 feet of snow. It was a significant snowstorm. But here's this white wolf on the side of a mountain that you could see him bigger than doubt. We think it was a female. Through binoculars, and we got to watch that wolf charge into those caribou and take down a caribou and kill it. Spectacular.
Wow.
The Lord doing his deal, man.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Wow.
So fun. And so we were sneaking the wolf.
Yeah.
Said, "Man, dude, let's go after the wolf." And so, you're looking at this mountain, and you could see the caribou have splintered, and you can't see the wolf now, but you know he's right there because he's eating the caribou.
Took one down.
And it got to a place that this is day 10, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And we're getting further and further and further away from our camp, and I'm realizing that, going, wow, dang it, man. And I'd already fallen twice. Not bad,
Yeah,
but you know, just kind of you're tired late afternoon, you don't lift your foot up quite as high, and you got your trekking poles and your pack, and I fell, didn't get hurt at all because it was tundra, but I was getting tired, fatigued. And so we were getting further, and we know where the wolf is.
Yeah.
And he's still a mile and a half away. And it was a false peak that when we got up, line up, there was another huge valley to go through, and I was going, oh, geez, Louise. And the guy said, hey, man, we'd already snuck up on 2 groups of caribou without any shooter bulls. And he said, at about that time, and I'm just getting so discouraged, he said, oh, hey, man, there's a group about 500 yards away. There's a group of caribou with 2 shooter bulls. I said, yes.
Yeah.
Forget the wolf.
Yeah.
And we went and snuck one of the caribous, and I got to harvest a great caribou.
Yeah.
He got it all on video. It was pretty
I
special.
hate false peaks.
I know.
You talk about suck the life out of you. The enthusiasm.
Yes, sir.
It's the worst.
That was it. And I'll never forget, once I got over the tops of those trees and I could see how far that was.
Yeah.
And it was a big, deep valley. I just go, oh, gosh, dog it.
Yeah. You started questioning, how bad do I want that wolf?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
I wanted it pretty badly,
Yeah.
but that caribou was pretty enticing, you
Yeah.
know. And pretty interesting, on the moose kill scene and on the caribou kill scene, my job, you know, with my bad shoulders, and I told him up front, I said, hey, man, I'm pretty gamey, but I'm not going to be much help moving all of that stuff. He said, no problem. You sit there with your 300 Win Mag chambered on safety, because as soon as those grizzlies smell this stuff, they want to be around.
Well, the shots are dinner bells.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when we did last time we did Alaska, actually both times we did for Sitka blacktail, same thing. We did a lot of hiking and climbing and walking on this island, and one of the guys, it was 3 of us hunting together, and one of the guys shot a really nice Sitka blacktail, and he's skinning it out. I'm like, you want me to help you? He goes, no, I want to do it. And I'm like, okay. I said, and after about 45 minutes, I'm like, why don't you let me help you? You know, and he's like, well, are we really in that big a rush? I said, well, the sun's going down, and I'm worried about the bears.
You bet.
Because we had already come across bear tracks. It's also a bedding area, and we were walking circles around this guy with our rifles while he was cleaning this deer.
Yep.
I'm like, we need to giddy up.
Yep.
We got to get this thing out of here, because I guarantee you there's a bear watching us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people don't realize that, but I'm pretty sure we had a bear really close in that area, because there was a lot of sign. I was kind of starting to get antsy. I'm like, let's pack this thing up and go. Are you looking for a smarter way to manage your document imaging and print environment? Dex Imaging delivers industry-leading printers, copiers, and fully managed print services designed to cut cost, boost productivity, and simplify your workflow. Whether you're a small business or a Fortune 500 company, Dex provides personalized local service with the power of a national network, so you get fast, reliable support wherever you are. Dex gives back, proudly supporting organizations like Houston Safari Club Foundation by giving through profit sharing. Dex Imaging, smarter technology, exceptional service, proven results. Visit deximaging.com or email Adam Montgomery at adam.montgomery@deximaging.com.
Gunworks just launched a new rifle system. It's called Index. It's sized for adventure and engineered for extremes. With barrel lengths as short as 16 inches and a folding stock that collapses to an ultra-short profile, the Gunworks Index fits nicely in a UTV, a float plane, or across the seat of your truck without sacrificing accuracy. The Index features a built-in ARCA and pick rail for use on tripod or bipod, and a night vision rail to ensure you're ready for any scenario. The Gunworks Index delivers magnum capability in the most compact chassis rifle system on the market. Visit gunworks.com to learn more.
You know, you've had this opportunity to hunt internationally. For somebody who's watching this or listening to this podcast, who's dreaming of hunting internationally, what is your advice to them?
Do it and
Do
don't
it.
wait.
Yeah.
Man, the guy that Jason Harston, I think he had a video called "Don't Wait." We don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah.
And I think for these, if you think about these sheep hunts, they are so dang expensive now that who knows what it's going to be moving forward in the future.
Right.
But I think that there's so much more to it than just the harvest. It's the experience. So don't wait. Go do it. Find what turns you on and go check that box.
Yeah.
Definitely go check that box because it's an adventure.
What's next on your checklist?
Back to Alaska.
Okay.
I'm going in August to go bear hunting.
Okay.
To go grizzly and caribou hunting. Interestingly, I'm going back with the same Jonah Stewart. That's my outfitter. And when I went in 24, he's got 3 different styles of hunts. He's got a float trip, and he typically takes his bow hunters on float trips.
Okay.
This is for moose and grizzly and caribou. Then the float plane trip, that's the hunt I went on, that he'll take you some area, land in a lake, drop you off on the side, and you spike out from there. And then there's a horseback hunt. They call it horse camp. And they fly you up higher into the mountains in the Brooks Range. And when I was there in 24, they had 7 hunters in the horseback hunt, and they all killed grizzlies.
Wow.
So at that point, I was talking to outfitters about mountain goats, and I'd already interviewed a couple and just trying to figure out, what's the best way to do this. And when I came back with that grizzly tag in my hand and those guys had all killed grizzlies, I want to go do that. So, but I don't want to do that style of a hunt without taking my son with me.
Okay.
So my son Forrest is coming with me. And so we're flying out on August the 19th. And I spoke with the guys, my guide from 2 years ago. I brought him down to our place in South Texas to kill a hog. And, that's a big to-do for those
I know,
guys.
isn't that funny?
A big to-do.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
dude, kill every one you see, please.
Right.
But I spoke with him last week and asked him about the hunt. And he said, because my son had said, hey, is this going to be a 200-yard shot, 300-yard shot? I said, I don't know. And he said that since it's early season, we'll be hunting up higher in the hills, the mountains, and ideally they're on the blueberries. And so they won't know you're there, so you'll have a better vantage point and so forth. But he also said that lots of wolves up there,
Really?
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that type of hunt, do you hunt like, okay, we're going to hunt bear first, we're going to hunt caribou first, or are you just hunting that area and whatever opportunity you have?
That's a really good question. In talking with Jonah, the outfitter, he said, I told him that I want our focus to be grizzly.
Okay.
And so we will be hunting grizzlies. And the cool part of it, when I talked to him 2 years ago, he said that I saw 3 grizzlies, and that was on a 10-day hunt. And he said, y'all are going to be on horseback. You get to cover so much more country. You'll see more game when
Okay.
you're on horseback. But to that end, and you start with the grizzlies or whatever you want to start with. We wanted to start with the grizzlies, and then ideally we will harvest 2 boars, and then he'll move us to wherever the caribou are.
Got it. They migrate in that area just like they do everywhere else?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Man, that's going to be a fantastic hunt. How long is that hunt going to be? How many days y'all putting aside?
Interesting. I think it was a 9-day hunt initially, and Jonah reached out to me via email last November and said, hey, man, I'm doing my logistics planning. Maybe, no, I think it was a 10-day hunt. I'm doing my logistics planning for next year, and it'll really help me out if y'all can hunt an extra 3 days.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Sure, no problem.
So
Yeah.
we're going to hunt 13 days.
Did you kind of do this? Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Okay, yeah, sure.
Exactly.
3 more days in the wild.
I did have to check with my son. I mean, it's different when you're this late in your career, but my son's 32. He's got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy peasy for him.
Sure.
But, and the cool truth be known, if you kill out early, I mean, he'll
Yeah.
come pick you up.
Yeah.
I mean, assume weather dependent and so forth.
Right.
And, you know, we fly, his base camp is in Weissman. And that's a 6-hour drive back to Fairbanks, and we change our tickets or whatever. So we'll see.
You guys you'll be doing camps, so you'll be out of tents, hunting out of tents.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
What's the weather typically like that time of year?
You know, lows in the upper 20s, high 30s, and ideally, if we catch a break, it won't rain as much. You know, on my moose hunt, I wore my rain gear the whole time.
Were you ever dry?
Pretty much the whole time.
Really?
I was pretty good. And, you know, one of the other things that my guide had that now I have is from Stone Glacier, one of those just tarps that you have.
Yeah.
And you use your trekking poles. And, man, we got rained on pretty consistently. We got snowed on the last 3 or 4 days. And when you're sitting there glassing and you're making a cup of coffee with your jet boil,
Yeah.
and you have shelter, it's the real deal, man. And that thing only weighs
Yeah.
a pound.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll throw that in my pack every time.
Yeah. I've talked to guys who've been on bear hunts and been to Alaska and other places, and they're like, I was there 14 days and I was never dry.
Yeah.
Until I stripped down buck naked and crawled into the tent, you know, and that was the only way I could get dry. And they said I was more than happy to be wearing no clothes at that point.
No, for sure.
Because, you know, I think something that, for somebody who's never done those types of hunts, yeah, they're physically demanding, but they're also mentally challenging. Like you said, you start to get tired. It's like when you ski too long one day and you start to fall, and it's like, okay, I just need to go in.
You absolutely.
Because if I'm
That's-
falling every time I go down, it's time for me to just.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Back
I
after the
really
day.
had the thought that if we had stayed an extra day, because that was the one thing, too, that Jonah had told me, that, hey, man, you've already killed your moose, and moose season's closed. You've already killed your caribou. Caribou season's closed. And grizzly are still open. I don't even know how long, but grizzly season was open. He said, you've got your guide. You have your packer. Y'all are out there. Hunt as long as you want.
Okay.
And that was day 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And on purpose, I had non-insulated boots because I didn't know if I really needed them, and they're so much lighter. And I've really never had an issue with cold toes. That's just me biologically.
Right.
And even though I had my gaiters on, and there was 2 feet of snow around, I was getting tired and I was getting cold.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you another quick story that was really fun. So when we harvested the caribou, like I said, man, I bet we were 4 miles and change from camp, and I killed him later in the afternoon, and we did this with the moose and we did this with the caribou, that you move the meat off the gut pile by 200 yards-ish.
Yeah.
Because, and I never knew this, that those grizzly and the wolves will smell the guts, and they want to hit the guts before they hit the backstrap and the meat.
Right.
So you want to move the meat away from that. And we carried 1 ham and, is that right? No, we left the rack. We just carried 1 ham back to camp, and we got back to camp about 11 o'clock that night in the dark, and it was dumping snow.
Yeah.
It was a hard pack out. Now it's 2 thumbs up because you're on cloud 9.
Sure.
It's killed a great caribou, and you know it's just wonderful. But you're tired. And fortunately, we were able to deviate a different direction, and we only had to cross 1 stream, one river instead of the 4 coming in. But we got to camp, and we ate, fall asleep. You're just crazy exhausted, as you can imagine. Next morning, wake up, and it is gray skies, cold as heck, all this snow on the ground, and a 4-mile hike back to get the rest of the caribou.
Yeah.
And
Not as much adrenaline on that one.
oh, not nearly as much. Fortunately for me, they said, we got it. So I stayed at camp and read the book of Matthew. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I just had the best day, but they were gone for 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I was in my camp with my 300 mag and my 10 millimeter and my Bible, and I'm just eating and kind of I'd look out.
Every once in a while, are they coming back yet?
Exactly. I mean, it's a little.
Did you at least make dinner for them?
Yeah, you boil the water, pour it in.
Put the freezer out in. Yeah, exactly. This episode of the Hunting Matters podcast is brought to you by B&B Taxidermy. Since 1983, the Baird family at B&B Taxidermy have been the premier experts in trophy mounts. Whether it's African, North American, global, or exotic, B&B Taxidermy will provide design, artistry, and attention to detail that you won't find anywhere else. B&B Taxidermy can also design and decorate your trophy room, showcase, or office with custom dioramas built to suit your space. Check out their showroom of exotic trophies on Jones Road in Houston, or visit their website at bbtaxidermy.com. B&B Taxidermy, proud supporters of the Hunting Matters podcast and Houston Safari Club Foundation. This episode of Hunting Matters is brought to you by Republic Boot Company. At Republic Boot Company, we don't just make boots, we craft heirlooms. From premium custom and stock boots to handcrafted leather bags, belts, and accessories, everything we create reflects Texas heritage and timeless quality. Our Houston craftsmen use the finest leathers and time-honored techniques to deliver style built to last. Whether you're stepping into a new pair of boots or carrying a signature leather bag, experience craftsmanship the Republic way. Visit Republic Boot Company and discover quality made for everyday life. Learn more at republicbootcompany.com.
God, that was fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's. I don't think until you've actually done it, people don't understand how wearing it is. How exhaustive wind. I'm talking about constant wind and rain can be.
Yeah. Oh, it
really wears. It wears on you.
Mm-hmm. And when you get cold and start shivering, and I think that's another thing too about the don't wait aspect of it. All this stuff's easier when you're younger.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just you got to have the money to do it.
Well, that's the challenge. Is you're not that far off in your career. Sometimes you can't afford to do it when you're younger.
Absolutely.
I remember we were up at Kujawak near the Circle, and when I did a caribou hunt. And I don't think the wind stopped blowing below 40 miles an hour consistently, and sometimes higher for 7 days.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you could hear the metal flaps on the buildings we were staying in, just the roof and stuff.
That will wear
we were exhausted.
you out. Absolutely.
Because you wake up all night long, you can't sleep because it's that constant banging and whistling, and you could hear it coming between the buildings. And we were in these little shacks, and then they'd haul us out there in a boat and drop us off and pick us up at sundown. We were pretty wiped. And, people don't understand that when you're out in the tundra and walking on those rocks, especially in real wet areas where there's river stuff, it's nothing but rocks. There's nothing even or steady, and everything's covered in moss.
Yep.
You're slipping and sliding around, and walking a mile on that stuff is like walking 20 miles
brutal.
anywhere else.
It is brutal. So, gosh, what year was that? This was on a caribou hunted with Birmingham on the peninsula, 23, I think. And I killed a great bull. And
that the hunt y'all got dropped in on? And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had something with my hip, something messing with me with my hip. And I'd already told my guide, I said, dude, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But let me take a shoulder.
Yeah.
So we take all the pictures and we butcher and we do all the stuff and you're always carrying your gun because of the bears, but I took all my other stuff out. And, those Kuyu packs are just bad to the bone, and they doctor it up, and it worked. And there was a big hill that I had to walk down because all we're trying to do is get the meat to the closest lake so the float plane could land and haul the meat away. And, man, I'd already made one run or two runs, I don't remember. And the guide, poor guy, he had already made a big run, and we were at the scene, and he said, hey, man, if you can carry that ham, we'll only have to do this because it was a mile walk through all that tundra stuff. And so I said, dude, I'm in. Pull it. Come on, let's go. But now you have all your other stuff. And I bet I had 100-pound pack. And at that point, I was, 62. My 62-year-old hip, about halfway through that walk, was going, oh, you think so, do you?
Yeah.
It hurt.
Yeah.
But what do? You just keep going. You got to go.
Yeah.
You're there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're not going to offload that stuff. Go, hey, can you?
Yeah. No.
I mean, there is a certain sense of pride and machismo that we have to continue to carry, even though our bodies are not. They're like, okay, you're going to do that to me. Let's see how this feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think you have enough Advil or Meloxicam in your pack, young man.
My wife told me, she said, when because she's 2 years older than me, she said, when you turn 60, you're going to start noticing the difference. And I was like, okay. And then when I turned 60, and now that I'm 62, things, when you crawl out of bed and things hurt, and you're like, I didn't do anything but sleep, it's a challenge. And that's back to our earlier conversation. That's why I think it's so important, especially as you get older. If you want to fully enjoy the experience, unless you've got health issues, you have to train for those hunts.
Clearly.
Dietary, it's like training for a fight. It really is. I mean, dietary, mentally, physically, training for those things. I mean, you'll go up, you know this better than anybody, you'll go up on these things, you can drop 20, 25 pounds.
Oh, man, for
easy.
sure. I that first sheep hunt, I came back, I don't know how much weight I lost. It wasn't 25 pounds, but I know I lost over 10. I'll tell you another thing, too, on that note. Training is no-brainer.
Yeah.
But the dietary stuff, I learned a lesson on that sheep hunt, my first sheep hunt. I was eating way too cleanly going into the hunt. And
What do you mean too cleanly?
oh man, I was just really watching what I was eating here.
Yeah.
And then I started eating all that freeze-dried stuff, and my system wasn't happy with me. So now my regimen is, I'm eating cleanly for sure leading into it, because you're working out and you're trying to be in good physical shape to go into one of these adventures. But 2 weeks beforehand, I'll start eating a greasy burger every now and then and wake up my system to that. I thought that I was going to go ahead and get some of those, gosh, I don't even remember the names of them, but the Mountain House stuff and all that, and try some of that. I never went down that path.
Sure.
But just not eating so cleanly that you abruptly shock your system.
Yeah, shock it before you go.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I'm doing now, because heck, I did it this morning because we're leaving in 2 months, is I don't lift a lot, because I'm lifting lighter weights for sure, but I'm only lifting 2, maybe 3 days a week, and it's all light weights. But dude, I stretch every morning with a Theragun, with a foam roller, 2-pound weights, just loosening everything up, especially with my shoulder hurting like it does, man. It's an issue.
Right.
But I think the stretching and then walking. I don't run anymore. I don't do any of that. And I would say that 75% of my walks are with my wife. So it's wonderful husband and wife time.
Right.
And you're training, and I've got my pack on, and I've got my trekking poles, and then we'll go to Memorial Park like you and I did, and
Have
go
a little
down
up
those
and down,
trails.
yeah.
You bet your tail. That's good stuff. My wife loves to do that.
Too bad we don't have something with elevation training that we can do here.
No, I know.
That would only add to it. Well, I think probably the best way to shock your system is like 2 weeks before, start hitting Taco Bell every other day.
Oh God! Wow.
And I'm with you on the running. I run to the bathroom and the fridge. My running days are over.
My running days are
over.
over.
My knees don't. Yeah, they're not going to hold up anymore.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
When I look at your career and I look at your hunting journey, there's parallels there. Because in both, you're saying don't wait, and at the same time plan for the future. You know what I'm saying? It's like, from the life insurance perspective, it's like, things are going to happen and come along, and you need to plan for those.
I've never had that thought like that.
You're kind of running it's kind of a parallel journey. Don't wait.
Yeah.
That's kind of the theme of our conversation.
Yeah.
Don't wait on planning for, your life in the future. Don't wait to do hunts if you can do them now, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Sure.
So you're kind of,
that's interesting.
You're pitching a tent in both camps there.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that. I will say this, that when I think about, my career has been beyond anything I could have ever dreamt. I didn't grow up like that, and all of a sudden we just ended up in a career that allowed us to do the things that we've done, and we've been blessed with 3 great kids, and now we've got 2 grandkids. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful ride. The hunting side of things, it has just been my passion all my life, and now we're at a place that we can look back. It's interesting, man, where at my home, we don't live in a 2-story home, but we have a second floor that has 1 room in it.
Yeah.
And it's our workout room. But in my workout room, I've got, I don't know, call it 8, 9, 10 heads, and all these framed hunting pictures. I bet I've got, I don't know, 300 hunting pictures.
Yeah.
And all the old pictures. And so when I go up there every morning to do my stretching, and I've got a podcast in or whatever the case may be, in my earbuds, I'm just looking at all these old hunting pictures. And it's just, it's wonderful, man. It's just a fond reflection of not my life's work, but man, my life's passion.
Yeah.
And it just brings a smile to my heart,
Yeah.
It's a great way to start the day after I have my quiet time and, doing all my reading and all of that and my devotionals. It's a cool thing.
The cool thing of the pictures is I'm sure when I look at those, I go, I remember every bit of that experience. I remember the temperature. I remember us sitting around the fire that night. I remember this, especially the ones that require a lot of planning and a lot of physical and mental preparation, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
You look at that and you go, I remember everything about that one.
I remember that flat tire. I remember, the things,
Yeah.
That's
I remember.
it's
I
great.
remember 32 minutes after I ate that first freeze-dried meal. We're going to wrap up here in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about legacy. You obviously are taking your son with you on this hunt, this big hunt coming up, and you have kids and grandkids now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, your faith and your belief in Jesus Christ is a big, big part of probably the dominant part of your life. You and I have had these discussions personally, and your involvement with the church and that sort of thing. Aside from that legacy and how you live your life, and aside from your professional, what is it in the hunting, conservation, outdoor world? What is it you want to leave behind in that piece of your legacy?
It's changed with my grandkids a little bit. I've got a grandson that's 10 months old and a granddaughter that's 5 months old. I really think it's very important that we leave the passion of hunting down to these kids and grandkids. My 2 son-in-laws neither of which were hunters really to speak of before they married my daughters. Both my daughters, they're kind of they had to chime in and killing all these does and all this stuff, and they've killed a bunch of deer, and but they're kind of done. They're 29. They're twin girls. I've got twin girls, but my son-in-laws, both of them have killed deer now, and been dove hunting and whatnot, and one of them's taken to it a lot more than the other, and that's fine. I see these grandkids, and it's just becoming, it's going to become harder and harder for us to protect what we do for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, not for a living, from our passion
Right.
for hunting. And to that end, if we don't do something about it, it's going to slip away from us, because there are more and more people that just don't understand hunting.
Right.
They just don't understand it. And they don't understand that when we put out protein and we have these cameras and we fly around in a helicopter to monitor our herd, we're doing it for the betterment of the herd.
Right.
And when we harvest these animals, the table fare is wonderful,
Yeah.
as we all know. And I'm not a big cook, but we have so many deer that we have to harvest because of deer and the MLD program and whatnot, that I don't know, we're giving we give anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 6 deer a year to Hunters for the Hungry. It does not go to waste, man.
No.
It does not go to waste. And it's for the betterment of that herd on that ranch in Webb County if we harvest those 25 to 30 deer a year. But if people don't understand that, then legislatively we will get caught red-handed doing the right things, but they think we're doing the wrong things, and it just won't turn out well for us. We have to protect what we do, and I think the best way for us to protect what we do not only is lobbying Capitol Hill, but it's also instilling the passion of hunting in these kids.
Yeah.
And if we do that, I think we'll be okay, because the faith will take us through it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you brought up the donating game for Hunters for the Hungry and that sort of thing. We typically do the same thing. There's so many does you have to take off to maintain your populations, that sort of thing. And to be honest with you, my wife's not a big venison eater. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things she loves. Like tonight we're having fried oryx backstraps.
You told me I was going to invite myself over.
And I'm excited about that. When I shot an oryx last year, she's like, you can shoot an oryx every year. Steaks, sausage, whatever. I mean, we're eating sausage. She's got she's got that German heritage and Irish heritage in her background. So a dinner of brats with sauerkraut and stuff is one of her favorite meals. We actually took some oryx sausage and started using that as instead of the brats and stuff, and she loves it. But so to each his own. Everybody's got their own thing. But I'll never forget. I guess it was about a year ago, maybe last season. We had we dropped off some meat. And there were 2 church groups waiting at the loading dock of a meat processing plant saying, do you guys have anything for us? Because they have food pantries.
How about that?
And people forget that how much wild game is donated to feed people who would, hard to believe in an advanced country like ours, that would not have a protein source.
Yep.
If it weren't for donations of wild game to these meat processing plants, whether it's Hunters for the Hungry or another program. But I talked to the people that ran this particular place. I won't mention their name, but they're like, they're every Sunday, they're here. Do you guys have anything extra that's been donated that we can take back and process or take back for the food pantry next Thursday? Because we're going to have people showing up looking for meat and canned goods, And I think that's something that people that don't hunt, we're not going to talk about the anti-hunters, but people who are not into hunting, that I think we constantly need to remind, and we kind of need to toot our own horn and tell people that, it's more to us going out and shooting stuff. We're actually a lot of hunters out there doing a service for the community when they donate these deer. There's 2 of us at home now. Our 3 boys are grown and gone.
Yeah,
we're not going to eat more than a deer a year.
No.
And I'm not going to throw that stuff and pay for it and throw it in the freezer and let it sit.
I know.
So I always encourage people, there is a taxidermist or a meat processing place somewhere near you that will take donations of venison and wild game. And from that point, churches, food pantries, food banks, they're going to take that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to put it to use.
Pete's Fine Meats on Richmond, they'll take your deer, they ground it into burger meat, they put it in 5-pound bags, and they take it to homeless shelters.
Yep.
So listen to this, watching our time. My moose. Moose are big.
Yeah.
Dude, they're big.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of meat.
And those back straps were just giant. And quite frankly, for me and my palate, better than elk, better than L.L.C, better than Axis. It's the best backstrap I've ever had. So I got to bring back the backstrap. But my outfitter, now this is in Weissman, Alaska. Population 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people lived there.
Yeah.
And while I was there, this guy came walking into this guy's lodge area, and it's primitive.
Yeah.
The lodge I was staying in, before we flew out and came back, it was the staging area pretty much.
Yeah.
It was primitive. There was running water in the main house, but then we had little casitas we were staying at, had wood burning stoves and a cot, and that's it. And there was one place to take a shower. Primitive. And this dude comes walking into camp, and I'll never forget, I was looking, I was going, dude, he no jacket on. He's wearing a white T-shirt and, befuddled looking. And he had moved to Weissman, Alaska with his 5 kids and his wife. What are you thinking? And
Or what are you running from?
maybe. Anyway, I told Jonah, give him my moose.
Yeah.
And that guy's going to eat all. He ate all winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Went for something good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Except the backstraps.
Of course.
I kept the backstraps.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're not foolish. Exactly. Gib, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Folks, our guest today has been Gib Surles. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We could talk for hours about different hunting trips and all kind of different stuff. So really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
And, folks, we will see you next episode on Hunting Matters, brought to you by the Houston Safari Club Foundation. Have a great week and be safe out there. Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.